The old woman stands on the road. The army has stopped in front of her. 48,000 men, and not one of them moves. The man at the front of them is her son. 488 BC. The road to Rome. Coriolanus leads an enemy army home. This is Roman Knights. We go back. We listen. We stay a while. Before the army. Before the exile. When the city still cheered his name. 1. The name he earned. 493 BC. A wet spring. The Roman camp sits in mud outside a Volscian town called Corioli. The town is small. The walls are not. They have held for days. Gnaeus Marcius is 26 years old. He has scars already. He counts them sometimes the way other men count coins. He does not count them out of pride. He counts them because each one is a place where he was slow, and he wants to remember being slow. The rain has stopped. The ground has not dried. Mud is the first enemy. It is always the first enemy. Inside the walls, the Volsci wait. Outside, the Romans wait. Between them, a strip of open ground that no one wants to be the first to cross. Marcius has crossed ground like this before. He knows the thing no one tells you. The fear does not come when the arrows come. The fear comes now in the waiting, when there is nothing to do with your hands. So he does what he always does. He checks his grip. He checks the men beside him without looking at them. He finds the gate with his eyes and does not let it go. A man who keeps his eyes on one thing does not have room to be afraid. He learned that young. He has never told anyone. He looks at the gate. It is shut. It has been shut for days. A horn sounds inside the town. Then another. The gate opens. The Volsci come out. Not a few. A sortie. They have decided to stop waiting too. For a moment the Roman line does not understand what it is seeing. An open gate. Men pouring through it. The thing they have wanted for days arriving as a threat. The first Volscian rank hits the Roman line. Marcius hears it before he sees it. The sound of shields meeting is not loud. It is a low, wet thud, like a door closing underwater. A man near Marcius goes down. He does not cry out. That is the part no one tells you. How quiet it is at the end. The Roman line bends. It does not break. It bends the way a green branch bends, and Marcius can feel that it wants to break. He does not think. There is no time to think. He moves. He goes forward into the Volsci, not back. A few men go with him. Not many. Enough. The fight is close now. Too close for spears. It is shields and the short blade and the weight of the man in front of you. Marcius is strong. He has always been strong. He puts his shoulder into a shield and feels the man behind it stumble. And he is through. The Volsci begin to give ground. They are not breaking. They are stepping back toward the gate. A fighting retreat. They have done this before. Marcius understands what is about to happen. They will go back inside. The gate will close. The waiting will start again. He looks at the gate. It is still open. The last of the Volsci are funneling toward it. A man with a plan would stop here. A man with a plan would reform the line and report to the commander and wait for orders. Marcius does not stop. He goes through the gate. There is a half-second going through where he is neither in nor out. The arch of the gate passes over his head. The light changes. The smell changes. From the open field to the close-packed smell of a town, wood smoke and animals and people. In that half-second he could still turn back. The body wants to turn back. Every animal thing in him says the open ground behind is safer than the closed streets ahead. He does not turn back. He has never been able to. That is the thing that will make him, and the thing that will end him. It is already both at once. Here, in the arch of a gate, he is inside Corioli, alone or near enough. The men behind him hesitate at the threshold. Men always do. The gap opens. He is through and they are not. The gate is at his back now. This is the moment that should kill him. He is one man inside a city of enemies. The Volsci who came out are coming back in. The Volsci who stayed in are turning to look. A Roman is standing in their street, mud to his knees, a sword in his hand. He does not look like a man who can be killed. That is the only weapon he has left, and he uses it. He goes at them, not toward the safe wall, toward the houses, toward the deep part of the town where the families are. The Volsci near the gate turn to face him. That is the mistake. To face one man, they turn their backs on the gate. Outside, a Roman officer sees the open gate and the Volscian backs, and he understands. He does what Marcius gambled he would do. He brings the line forward. The Romans pour through the gate. Marcius held it open with nothing. His own body, the fear of the men around him. The street fight does not last long. Street fights never do. They are not battles. They are 100 small murders happening in the same hour. There is no line here, no formation. A street is too narrow for the things a soldier is trained to do. Comes down to the man in front of you, the doorway behind you, the corner you cannot see around. Marcius moves the way he was taught for this. Back to a wall when he can. Never the center of an open space. Watch the high windows because a roof tile dropped on a helmet does what no sword can. The noise is the worst of it. In an open battle, the sound spreads out into the sky. In a street, it has nowhere to go. It bounces off the stone and comes back doubled. Screaming, his own breath, the clang of iron on a door frame, a woman somewhere not stopping. A man learns to stop hearing it. Marcius stopped hearing it years ago. That is its own kind of wound, the not hearing, but no one counts it among the scars. Marcius is in the middle of it. He takes a cut across the arm. He does not feel it yet. He will feel it tonight when the work is done the way you always feel it later. A Volscian comes at him from a doorway. Marcius turns. The man is young, younger than Marcius. For half a breath they look at each other. Then it is over and Marcius is moving again, and he does not look back at the doorway. In a street near the center, the fighting thins. An older Volscian is on his knees in the mud. Roman soldiers stand over him. They are deciding what to do with him. Marcius knows the face. He has eaten in this man's house. Years ago, before the war, when a Roman could still be a guest in a Volscian town. The man fed him, gave him a bed, asked nothing. Marcius says nothing now. He files it away, the way he files away the faces of his own men. He never forgets a face. It is the one soft thing in him, and it does not feel soft. Feels like a debt. He moves on. The fighting is not finished. By midday the town is taken. Corioli falls, the richest Volscian town in the valley, taken in an afternoon, because one man would not wait at a gate. The smoke goes up. The Romans do what armies do to a taken town. Marcius does not stop them, but he does not join them either. There are children in the captured streets. He looks at them the way he looks at a wall or a horse or a problem of supply. They are part of the war. They are not people to him. They are a thing the war produced. This is true of the enemy. It is also true of something else. There are men in his own city he counts the same way. As a thing, not a person. Half of Rome, counted like Volscian children in a captured street. He does not know what that will cost him. He will find out. He stands in the middle of the captured market. He is bleeding from the arm he has not noticed. The soldiers around him begin to understand what they saw. One of them says his name, then another. The name moves through the army the way fire moves through dry grass. That night, the commander stands the army in a square and calls Marcius to the front. The general offers him a tenth of everything. A tenth of the plunder, the horses, the captured men. It is an enormous gift. It would make a poor man rich. Marcius does not take it. He says he is a soldier, not a merchant. He says he will take a soldier's single share, the same as any man in the line. The army roars. They love him for it. He knew they would. Some part of him always knows. Then he asks for one thing, only one. There is a Volscian in the captured men, he says. A man who was once his host. The man who fed him in the years before, when the two cities were not yet at war. He asks that this one man be freed. Not for ransom, just freed. The general grants it. Of course he grants it. The army loves him more. It is the only mercy Marcius asks for all day. He spends it on a debt, not on a person. He would not see the difference. To him they are the same thing. And the general says he will give Marcius a name. A surname to carry for the rest of his life and pass to his sons. He will be called Coriolanus, the man who took Corioli. The army roars again. Coriolanus, Coriolanus. Here is the thing the army does not see. Marcius is not thinking about the army. He is not thinking about the name. He is thinking about a small house in Rome and the woman who lives in it. His father is dead. His father has been dead a long time. Marcius does not remember him. He was raised by his mother. The house was not rich. Everything he has ever done, he has done for one reason. So that she would look at him a certain way. He took a city today. He held a gate alone. He turned down a fortune in front of an army. He did all of it for her. He does not say this. He would not know how to say it. But that night the army goes to sleep. The fires burn low. He sits alone. He is not thinking about Corioli at all. He is thinking about going home and telling her. The lion of the battlefield. In front of his mother, a different man. 2 hours before dawn, the rain comes back. It falls on the burned town. It falls on the Roman camp. It falls on the road that runs all the way back to Rome. Marcius sleeps the way soldiers sleep, lightly, with one hand near the blade. He has checked the exits of the tent without knowing he did it. He is the best soldier Rome has. Everyone says so. They are right. What no one says, because no one knows it yet, is this. The same thing that took the city will one day bring an army to Rome's own gate. It is the same thing. It was always going to be the same thing. He sleeps. The rain falls. The name is his now. Coriolanus. 2. The soldier with the scars. Rome is at war. Rome is always at war. This is the part the histories make sound clean. There was a campaign. There was a victory. A line on a list. What the list does not say is who paid for it. A farmer goes to the war. He has to. The law says so, and the consul says so, and the enemy is real. So he leaves the farm. The farm does not stop needing him. The fields need planting. The roof needs mending. The animals need feeding. None of this waits for a war to end. So the farmer borrows. There is always a man with money. Patrician, usually. He lends, and he is patient, and he waits. The farmer comes home. If he comes home, the fields are gone to weed. The debt is still there. It has grown while he was away, the way debts do, quietly, in the dark, like something rotting. He cannot pay. Here is where Rome keeps a word that the modern tongue does not have. Nexum. It means a man can pledge his own body against a debt. Not his land. Not his tools. His body. When he cannot pay, the body is collected. He becomes the property of the man he owed. Not quite a slave. The law is careful about the word. But he can be chained. He can be made to work. He can be beaten. A Roman beaten in a Roman house for the crime of having gone to a Roman war. The Senate knows about this. The Senate has known for years. The Senate finds it regrettable. Regrettable is a useful word. It means a thing is bad and also that nothing will be done. The men who use it are not the men who turn the grinding stone. They have never seen the inside of a creditor's back room. They have only seen the ledgers balance. A thing that balances on paper is hard to call a crime. This is the morning a man walks into the forum who will make it impossible to find it merely regrettable. He is old, older than most men get. He comes through the crowd slowly. People step back from him. There is something wrong with the way he looks. His clothes are rags. His hair is long and gray and uncut. His face is the color of a man who has not eaten well in a long time. The crowd in the forum is large that morning. There is news of another war coming. The Volsky again. The Equi. Always someone. The old man stops in the open space where men make speeches. He does not make a speech. Not at first. He takes off what is left of his shirt. The crowd goes quiet in the way crowds do when they are not sure yet what they are seeing. His chest is a map of old wars. Sword cuts healed badly. A spear scar below the ribs that should have killed him and did not. The mark of an arrow on the shoulder. Each one has a story he could tell, and a story he will not. Where he was standing. Who was beside him. Who did not walk away from that one. A soldier's body keeps the record his memory tries to lose. The skin does not forget. It puckers and whitens and stays. A ledger written in the only ink that does not fade. He has more entries than most men live to collect. He turns around. His back is a different map. These marks are not from any enemy. They are straight. They are deliberate. They are the marks a whip makes. A man tied and unable to move, and a man with a whip who is in no hurry. The forum understands what it is looking at all at once. He tells them then, not a speech, just the facts, in the flat voice of a man who has told it to himself many times. He served in the legions. He fought in war after war. He showed them the front of him where the enemy had been. He pointed at the scars one by one and said where each had come from. A man does not forget where his scars come from. While he fought, the enemy burned his farm. His crops were taken. His house went. The taxes did not stop because his house was gone. So he borrowed. He could not pay. The creditor took him. Took him the way you take a tool or an ox. He showed them the back of him for the rest. The whip marks, the work, the chains. He had given Rome the front of his body. Rome had given him the back. He says one more thing and then he is done. He had a wife. He had sons. The sons went to the war too. One did not come back. The creditor did not care about the dead son. The debt was on the living man, and the living man was him. So they took him. They put him to work in the dark part of the house, where the grinding stone is. An old soldier turning a stone like an animal. He shows them his hands. The palms are not a soldier's hands anymore. They are something else now. The crowd does not stay quiet. It is not one man's story. That is the thing that turns a quiet morning into something else. Every man in that forum has a version of it. A debt, creditor, a war that took the year his fields needed him. The old man is just the one who took off his shirt. A man in the crowd has a brother in chains across the city. A man beside him owes a debt he knows he will never clear. A third lost a son to a war. He is still being charged for the equipment the boy never brought home. They have all carried it alone, each in his own house, each believing it was his own failing. That is how it works. Shame keeps men quiet. Each one thinks he is the only one who could not manage. The old man's back tells them otherwise. It is the same back they all have under their shirts in one form or another. The marks are different. The story is the same. 100 men who each thought they were alone look around the forum. They understand all at once that they are a crowd. That is the most dangerous arithmetic in any city. The moment the isolated discover they are many, the anger moves through the crowd the way water moves through a broken wall. Slowly at first, then all at once and in every direction. Men begin to shout. Men begin to find each other. The ones who are in chains at home or whose brothers are or whose fathers were. Across the forum, on the high ground where the patricians stand, the senators watch the crowd change shape. They have seen crowds before. This one is different. This one has found a face to put on its anger, and the face is an old soldier's back. A man stands among the patricians, apart from them, watching with no expression at all. He is young and he is hard and he is the best soldier Rome has. Marcius, Coriolanus now. He has the name a few years. He watches the old man and the gathering crowd, and he feels nothing that the crowd is feeling. To him this is not injustice. To him this is weakness dressed up as injustice. A man borrows what he cannot repay, and then complains about the terms. That is how Coriolanus reads it. A debt is a promise. A promise broken is a promise broken, scars or no scars. He has a view of the world, and it is a clean one. There is no room in it for the back of an old man. In his view there are men who keep their word and men who do not. The first kind rules. The second kind serves. The scars do not change which kind you are. They are just decoration on the argument. It is a coherent way to see things. It is also a way to walk through the world touching no one. He does not know that yet either. He does not say any of this out loud. Not today. There will be a day. He files it away with the other things he is keeping. The old man stands in the middle of the forum. His shirt is in his hand. The city is changing around him. He has done what no consul could do, and no general and no senator. He has made Rome look at its own back. By evening the streets are full. The debtors have come out of the houses they were chained in. No one has stopped them. For one night no one can. It is a strange thing to see. Men who have not been outside in daylight for months. They stand in the street and look up. Some of them are weeping and do not seem to know it. The city smells of cooking fires and the river. It always does. To these men it smells like the year they lost. The Senate meets late. The Senate is, for the first time in a long time, afraid. Somewhere in the dark, the old soldier is sitting against a wall, his shirt back on, finished. He started something he will not get to finish. That is usually how it goes. The man who lights it is rarely the man who is warm at the end. 3. The city walks out. The Senate makes a promise. It is a careful promise. It is the kind of promise that is made to be useful now and forgotten later. The debts will be looked at. The chains will be reviewed. There will be relief. The plebs have heard this promise before. In one form or another they have heard it for years. But there is a war coming, and a war needs men, and so the consul calls the levy. He calls the plebs to take up arms and march out. The way they always have. Against the Volsci. Against the Equi. Against whoever it is this season. And the plebs do something they have never quite done before. They say no. Not with a speech. Not with a riot. They simply do not come. The consul calls the names, and the names do not answer. The men who should be forming in the field are sitting in their doorways with their arms folded. A Roman who will not fight is a strange and frightening thing. The whole machine of the city runs on it. You are a citizen, so you fight. You fight, so you are a citizen. Take away one half, and the other half does not know what it is. For the men sitting in their doorways, it is not a small thing either. Refusing the levy is close to treason. In another year it would get them killed. They know this. They do it anyway, and the reason they can do it is the reason the Senate cannot stop them. A man will not risk his life for a city that has already taken everything else. The consul stands in the field and calls the names, and the silence that answers him is made of arithmetic. There is nothing left to threaten these men with. You cannot frighten a man with loss who has already lost. The Senate is caught, cannot make men fight, can threaten and it does, but a threat only works on a man who has something left to lose. These men have already lost the year. Some of them have lost the house. What is left to take from a man who is going to be put in chains anyway? The patricians argue among themselves. Some say crush it now hard before it spreads. Some say promise more. They argue the way men argue when they are afraid and do not want to say the word. While they argue, the plebs decide for them. It does not begin with a leader. That is the part the senators never understand. Then or after. There is no one to arrest because there is no one in charge. A few men start walking, then more. They are armed because a Roman keeps his arms, but they are not marching to a fight. They are marching out of the city. No one has done this. Armies have mutinied. Mobs have rioted. Cities have been betrayed from the inside. But this is none of those things. This is a whole class of men with their weapons in their hands choosing to stop. Not to fight the city. Just to stop being its hands and its back and its legs. Centuries later, men will have a word for this. For what a body of workers does when it lays down its tools together. The plebs do not have the word. They do not need it. They have the act. They go out through the gate and across the river and up onto a hill a few miles off. Later men will call it the Sacred Mount. They take their families. They take what they can carry. They build a camp on the hill the way they would on campaign. Neat, walled, patient, and then they stop. And wait, this is the thing that has never happened. They have not attacked the city. They have not burned anything. They have not killed a single patrician. They have simply removed themselves and taken with them the one thing the city cannot do without. Themselves. Down in Rome, the morning comes, and the city is wrong. The forum is half empty. The shops in the Subura are shut. The men who carry and dig and build and load are not there. The bakeries are quiet. The wharves on the river are still. It is the quiet that frightens people most. A city has a sound. It is made of 1,000 small noises. You stop hearing it the way you stop hearing your own heart. The hammer of a smith, cart on stone, a man shouting a price, the slap of wet cloth on the washing steps. Take it all away at once and the silence is not peace. It is a held breath. The patricians walk through it and find they cannot stand it for long. They do not know why. Then they understand. They are hearing, for the first time, a city with its working half removed. A patrician walks out into the street and finds no one to walk past. The city he owns is very large and very empty. It is very much his, all of it. He does not want it. Rome does not run on the patricians. It never did. They knew this the way you know a thing you have agreed not to say. Now it is being said, not in words, but in the silence where a working city used to be. The fields outside the walls go untended. The army has no rank and file. The walls have no men to stand on them. If the Volsci came now, today, there would be no Rome to take. Only the rich, standing in their empty houses, holding the deeds to a city that has walked away. Coriolanus walks the empty forum that morning. He does not see what the others see. The others see a danger. He sees an insult. To him, the city has not been emptied. It has been blackmailed. A soldier does not negotiate with a man who refuses to fight. A soldier despises him. That is the clean rule. Coriolanus lives by clean rules. He watches the half-dead forum with a contempt so total it has gone past anger into something quiet. He says nothing. He files it away with the old soldier and the scars. The pile of things he is keeping is getting taller. One day he will set it down all at once, and it will fall on the city. The Senate meets, and for once the meeting is short. They have understood. You cannot own half of a body and let the other half leave. The hand does not work without the back. The mouth does not work without the legs. Someone has to go up the hill. It has to be the right someone, not a man the plebs hate, not a man they will throw out of the camp. There are not many patricians who fit. The plebs trust almost none of them. There is one, an old man. He has been kind in small ways over the years, the kind of small ways a man remembers long after the large ones are forgotten. His name is Menenius Agrippa. They send for him. Up on the hill the plebs watch the road. They are not afraid. That is the strange new feeling among them, and they are still getting used to it. For the first time they are the ones being come to. The figure appears on the road below. One man, old, walking up alone. They let him come. Winter is not far off. The nights on the hill are cold, but no one is leaving. They have found the one thing they were never supposed to find. The city needs them more than they need the city. What they do with that in the next days will make a new thing in Rome. A thing that has never existed. A man whose only job is to stand between them and the people who used to own them. But that is the next day's work. Tonight there is a fire on the hill. An old man walking up the road. And below it, a city that has finally gone quiet enough to hear itself. For the fable of the belly. Menenius Agrippa is old, and he is tired, and he walks up the hill alone. He could have brought guards. He did not. A man who brings guards to a camp of armed men is saying something. He says it before he opens his mouth. Menenius has lived a long time. He knows what a thing says before the words start. He comes into the camp. The plebs let him. They are watching to see what kind of man they have been sent. The camp is not what the Senate imagined. The Senate pictured a mob, a rabble on a hill. What Menenius walks into is a town. The tents are in rows. There are cook fires with men tending them, washing strung between the lines. Children, because the plebs brought their families. Because this was never a riot. It was a departure. The order of the place is the most frightening thing about it. These are not men who lost control. These are men who walked away on purpose and built something neat and sat down to wait. A mob you can break. This you cannot. Menenius sees it. He understands, walking through it, that the Senate sent him to put down a fire, and there is no fire. There is a cold, patient, organized fact, and it is going to have to be answered, not extinguished. He does not threaten them. He does not promise them anything. He does not tell them about the war, or the law, or the danger, all the things the Senate sent him to say. He tells them a story. This is the oldest trick there is, and it is old because it works. A frightened man does not hear an argument. He has his answer ready before you finish. But a man will listen to a story. He does not know yet which side of it he is on. So Menenius tells them about the body. Once, he says, the parts of the body were angry. The hands and the feet and the mouth. They worked all day. They fetched and they carried and they chewed. And for what? So that the belly could sit in the middle doing nothing, taking everything they brought it. It was not fair. The hands could see it was not fair. So the parts of the body agreed. They would stop. The hands would not bring food. The mouth would not take it. The teeth would not chew. Let the belly sit there, idle and useless, and feed itself if it could. So they stopped. And at first it felt like justice. But the belly was not idle. The plebs are listening now. He has them now, and he slows down. A story is also a matter of when you go fast and when you go slow. The belly, Menenius says, had been doing the quietest work of all. Took what the hands brought. It broke it down. Sent it back out as blood to every part. To the hands. to the feet, to the mouth itself. When the parts stopped feeding the belly, they were not starving the belly. They were starving themselves. The hands grew weak. The feet would not hold. The mouth went dry, and the body began to die. All of it, the just hands and the lazy belly together. Because there was never a lazy belly. There was only a body that did not understand itself. He stops. The plebs understand the story. They are not stupid. They were never stupid. That was always the patrician mistake. They understand what he is calling them. They are the hands. The patricians are the belly. He is telling them they will die together if they pull apart. They understand it, and the dangerous thing is that it is true. And yet there is a hole in the story, and the sharper men feel it even as they nod. The fable says the body is one thing, all the parts equal in their need of each other. But the body Menenius is describing is not equal. The belly does not bleed when the hands are cut. The belly has never turned a grinding stone in the dark with a debt around its neck. A real body shares its pain. This one does not. When the fields fail, it is not the patrician who is chained. The story is beautiful, and it is also a little dishonest. The plebs are not stupid. Some of them see exactly where the seam is, but Menenius is not offering them the truth. He is offering them a way down off the hill that does not feel like surrender. And that, it turns out, is worth more than the truth on a cold night with winter coming. A camp of angry men can stay angry as long as the anger is pure. The story has put a crack in the purity. Now there is a question in it. If we are right and we walk away and the city dies, what have we won? But understanding the story is not the same as forgiving the belly. A man stands up, not a leader. There are no leaders here. Just a man who has the question on his face that all of them have. He says it plainly. Fine, we are one body, but the belly has been taking the blood and keeping it. Show us it will not happen again. A story is a story. We came up this hill for more than a story. There is a silence after that. The kind of silence that decides things. The fire pops. Somewhere a child cries and is hushed. The men around the speaker do not look at Menenius. They look at the ground, or at the city below. Small, smoking with its evening fires. The city that is theirs and not theirs. Menenius lets the silence sit. He is old enough to know that the man who fills a silence first usually loses it. Menenius has been waiting for this. This is the part the Senate did not want to give. It is the part he came up the hill knowing he would have to. So they make the new thing. It does not have a model. Rome has consuls who are patrician. It has the Senate, which is patrician. It has priests and judges and the long machinery of a city. All of it, top to bottom, belongs to men like the ones in the empty houses below. The new thing belongs to the plebs. They will have officers of their own. Tribunes of the plebs. Not generals. Not judges. Their whole job is one thing, and it is a strange thing, and Rome has never had it before. Their job is to say no. A tribune can stand in front of a magistrate and stop him. If a consul moves against a pleb, the tribune can put his body in the way. He says the single word that halts it. Veto. I forbid. And the tribune himself is to be sacred. Sacrosanct. To lay a hand on him is not a crime against a man. It is a crime against the gods. The plebs swear an oath to defend him to the death. All of them. Every man on the hill. So the one who says no cannot simply be removed by the men he says it to. It is small. It is also enormous. It does not give the plebs the city. It does not cancel a single debt that night. The old soldier with the scarred back is not freed by it. The chains do not fall. What it gives them is a lever. One small place to put their weight. For the first time, there is a man in Rome with one purpose. To stand between the powerful and the powerless and refuse. It deserves to be put plainly. The office of the tribune of the plebs is created in this year, on this hill out of this fear. It will last, in one form or another, for nearly 500 years. It will be the tool the Gracchi use, and a man named Caesar, long after everyone on this hill is dust. The crack the plebs opened on the sacred mount runs the whole length of the republic. But none of them can see that. They see only that they have won something, and that it is time to go home. The camp comes down. The fires are put out. The men gather their families and their tools. They start back down the hill, toward the city that could not run without them and now knows it. Menenius walks down ahead of them, old and tired. He has done the one large thing of his life. He stopped a thing without breaking it. Down in Rome, the shops will open again. The wharves will fill. The forum will sound like itself. And in a good house on the Palatine, a young man hears the news. The Senate has made a new office to protect the plebs. The plebs are coming back, having won. Coriolanus does not see a wise compromise. He sees a surrender. He sees the belly, frightened, handing the hands a knife and calling it peace. He files it away. The pile is very tall now. He will not have to wait long to use it. 5. The price of grain. The year the plebs came back, the harvest failed. It is not a punishment. The histories sometimes make it sound like one, as if the gods were keeping a ledger. They were not. The plebs had been on a hill instead of in the fields. The fields were planted late or not at all. A city that walks out on its own farms does not eat well the next winter. So Rome is hungry. Hunger changes a city. The forum gets quieter and more dangerous at the same time. Men line up for bread that is not there. The price of grain climbs past what a poor man can pay, then past what he can imagine. Then it is not a price at all because there is nothing to buy. The Senate sends out buyers. They go to Etruria, to the Greek towns in the south, to Sicily, anywhere with a surplus and a harbor. They spend the city's money. They beg. Slowly, the grain begins to come. A large shipment arrives from Sicily. Some of it is bought. Some of it is a gift, sent by a king in the south who wants Rome to remember him kindly. Either way, it is here. Enough to make the difference between a hard winter and a deadly one. The grain comes up from the river in carts. People line the street to watch it. They do not cheer. They are too hungry to cheer. They just watch it pass the way you watch something you need too badly to believe in yet. Coriolanus watches it too from higher up. He sees the same carts. He does not see salvation in them. He sees leverage. A man with bread, in a city of the hungry, holds the only real power there is. The trick is to know it and to use it and not to give it away out of pity. The question before the Senate is simple. How is it shared? The plebs assume they know the answer. The grain came to feed the city. They are the city, most of it. The hungry mouths are theirs. So the grain comes down to them, at a price they can pay. At no price at all in the worst cases. That is what a city does for its own. Coriolanus stands up in the Senate and says no. The chamber is full that day. It is always full when there is grain to argue over. Grain is the one thing every man in the room understands the same way. The senators expect a debate about distribution, about price and quantity, and which warehouse opens first. The ordinary careful argument of men dividing a thing. He does not give them that. He stands up and turns a question about bread into a question about power. In a single sentence. The way a soldier turns a skirmish into a battle by choosing the ground. The room shifts. They can feel him doing it. Some of them lean forward. He has that effect. When Coriolanus speaks, even the men who hate him stop talking. He says the thing the rest of them are too cautious to say. There is a terrible clarity in it. He has been waiting for this, though he could not have known it would come as grain. He has been waiting for a place to set down the pile of things he has been keeping. The old soldier's back. The empty forum. The tribunes, sacred and untouchable, made out of the Senate's fear. The surrender that everyone else calls peace. Here is the place. Here is the lever, and it has come to his hand. His argument is clean, the way his arguments are always clean. The plebs walked off the fields. The plebs made the famine by leaving. The plebs forced the Senate with threats to create the tribunes. Very well. Let them have the grain. Let it come cheap, even free. On one condition. They give up the tribunes. They give back the office they extorted on the hill. They unmake the new thing. Then, and only then, does the cheap grain flow. Feed them, he says, and they will only do it again. Give a frightened animal what it screams for, and you have taught it to scream. Withhold the grain until they surrender the lever, and you take back what fear gave away. He does not see hungry men. He sees a negotiation, and he has found the other side's weak point, and a soldier presses a weak point. That is the whole of war. He did not call it cruelty. He called it discipline. He thought he was teaching them their place. He believed it completely. A man believes most easily the thing that flatters him. That was the part that finished him. Not the cruelty, the certainty. The Senate hears him. Some of them are even with him. He has said out loud what a number of them feel and would never say. There is a kind of relief in the chamber. The relief of a thing finally spoken. But the words do not stay in the chamber. They never do. There is no such thing as a private speech in Rome. By evening the forum knows. By night the camp of the plebs that is not a camp anymore knows. A patrician has stood up in the Senate. He proposes to hold their bread over their heads, until they hand back the one protection they have. The thing about a lever is that it works in both directions. The plebs have tribunes now. That is the entire point of the last winter. The hill, the cold nights, the fable. They have men whose one job is to stand in the way and say no. And those men now have a target, and the target has handed himself to them. This is the new machine working for the first time. A year ago it could not have happened. There was no court for it, no office, no standing. The plebs would have raged in the street and gone home hungry. Now the tribune stands up in the open and speaks the words that did not exist a year ago. He summons a man of the patrician order to answer to the people. The summons itself is the revolution. Not the verdict, not yet. The simple fact that a baker's champion can call a war hero to account, and that the call has weight, and cannot be ignored. The lever the plebs cut from the bedrock of the sacred mount is being set against its first stone. The patricians understand what they are watching. Some of them, even the ones who agree with Coriolanus about the grain, feel the cold of it. If a tribune can summon him today, a tribune can summon any of them tomorrow. They built the office out of fear to buy a winter of peace. Now they see the shape of what they bought. It does not have an off switch. It will be here long after the grain is gone. The summons goes out, not to a battle, to a trial. There is a man now who can say the word. Veto. Summons. Stand and answer. Coriolanus cannot believe it. That is the truest thing about this moment, and the most dangerous. He genuinely cannot believe it. In his world there are men who keep their word and men who do not, and the first kind rule. He is the first kind. He kept every promise he ever made. He held a gate alone. He turned down a fortune. He has given Rome the front of his body, exactly as the old soldier did. And now Rome proposes to put him on trial. At the word of the people he despises. The injustice of it, to him, is total. He cannot see the symmetry. He cannot see where he is standing. It is exactly where the old soldier stood. Accused by a system he does not believe in. About to learn that the front of his body buys him nothing. He does not go quietly toward the trial. Men come to him, even friends, and tell him to soften it, to go and speak well and let it pass. He will not. To explain himself would be to admit the court has a right to ask. It does not, in his view. So he hardens. The day of the trial is set. Down in the forum, the lever the plebs made on a cold hill is about to move a war hero. The grain sits in the warehouses, undistributed, while the city argues about who is allowed to be hungry. And on the Palatine, a young man who has never lost a fight prepares to lose one. He does not yet know that is what it is. He thinks he is going to win. He always wins. He cannot imagine the shape of a defeat that is not a battle. He is about to learn it. 6. The door that closed behind him. The trial is in the forum, in the open where the people are. That is the first thing he hates about it. A patrician expects to be judged by patricians, in a chamber by men who understand what he is. Instead, he is brought down into the open space where anyone can stand and watch. And the people who will decide are the people he insulted. The tribunes have arranged it carefully. They have learned fast. They know that the worst thing they can do is make him a martyr. So they do not charge him with treason, or with crimes he can deny. They charge him with what he actually said. His own words about the grain. There is no defense against your own words except to take them back. And taking them back is the one thing Coriolanus will not do. His friends have begged him. Go down, they said. Be careful. Say the words are misunderstood. Speak softly to the people once, just this once, and the whole thing dissolves. You do not even have to mean it. He cannot. To soften the words would be to admit the court has a right to hear them. He does not believe it has that right. So he stands in the forum and does not retreat. Retreat is a thing he has never done on any field. He does not have it in him to learn it now. Not here. Not in front of these people. He is asked to answer. He answers like a man on a wall. He does not apologize. He does not explain. If anything, he is worse than the report of him. He looks out at the crowd of citizens who hold his fate. The bakers, the porters, the men with the scarred backs. He cannot keep the contempt off his face. They can see it. Of course they can see it. It is the most honest thing in the forum that day. There is a moment, brief, when it could still go the other way. The crowd has not entirely decided. They remember Coriolanus. They remember the name they cheered. Some of them want him to give them a reason to forgive. A word, a small bending, would be enough. They are leaning toward it the way a crowd leans, half wanting to be talked out of its own anger. He gives them nothing. He looks at the men who want to forgive him. He lets them see exactly what he thinks of them. The leaning stops. He has a gift for finding the precise moment a thing could be saved, and refusing to save it. He would call it honesty. It is honesty. It is also the most expensive thing he owns. This is his greatness and his ruin, and they are the same thing. The same refusal to bend that took the gate at Coriolanus is the refusal that will not bend now. On the wall it made him a hero. In the forum it makes him a dead man walking, or near enough. He cannot tell the difference between the two situations, because to him there is no difference. A man holds his ground. That is all he knows how to do. The vote is taken. The people of Rome find Gnaeus Marcius Coriolanus guilty. They do it through the new machine the plebs built on a hill one cold winter. The sentence is exile. He is to leave Rome. He is not to come back. There is a silence when it is read. Even the people who voted for it are quiet. They have just thrown out the best soldier the city has. Some part of the crowd knows a city does not do such a thing without a cost, and that the cost has not yet been named. Coriolanus does not rage. That is what they expected, and it is not what they get. He goes very still. He has decided something in the space of a breath. No one will know what it is for a while yet. He says one thing short and then he is done with them. The sentence is meaningless, he tells them. They cannot exile him from Rome. He is leaving. There is a difference. A man who is thrown out has lost his home. A man who walks out has decided his home is not worth keeping. He will be the second kind. He always is. He turns and goes. He goes home first. To the house. To his mother and his wife and his children. This is the part the histories pass over quickly. It is the part that matters most for what is coming. He goes to his mother, Vittoria, the woman he has done everything for, the woman whose look has been the point of his whole life. And whatever passes between them, he leaves anyway. The house is small and warm and full of the smell of the evening fire. His wife stands by the wall with the children, saying nothing. His mother sits very straight, the way she always sits. She does not weep. She has never wept where he could see it. She looks at him for a long time and he cannot hold the look, and that has never happened before. All his life her look has steadied him. Now it asks him a question he does not want to answer. So he looks at the floor, like a boy. She tells him to stay. Not loudly. Just once. 8 words, maybe. He hears them. He has obeyed that voice his whole life. He does not obey it now. He picks up his bag and goes to the door. At the door he stops. Some part of him is waiting for her to call him back hard enough to turn him. She does not. She has too much pride for that, and he gave her the pride. He made himself out of it. That is the crack that will open the whole episode. He can defy the Senate. He can defy the people. He can defy the gods if it comes to that. But the one authority he has never defied is hers. And now, for the first time in his anger, he does. He leaves against the only person he has ever truly obeyed. He does not stay to feel what that means. He is too angry to feel it. He packs little. He has never owned much. A soldier travels light. Then he walks out of the city. It is winter still, or near it. The road out of Rome is cold and half frozen and empty in the early part of the day. The Forum is behind him. The Palatine. The house. The city he bled into the streets of Corioli to protect. All of it behind him now and getting smaller. The frost has not lifted off the fields. The puddles in the road have a skin of ice. It breaks under his feet. The small sharp sound is the only thing he can hear. A bird somewhere. The wind. His own breath white in front of him. He has marched out of Rome on 100 mornings like this. Toward 100 wars. Every one of those mornings, the city behind him was the thing he was protecting. This morning it is the thing he is leaving. The road feels the same under his feet and means the opposite. He does not look back at it. A man who looks back is saying goodbye. A man who does not look back is saying something colder. He is not leaving a home. He is leaving an enemy. The cold gets into him as the city drops away. He does not feel it as cold. He feels it as clarity. The anger has burned everything soft out of him. What is left is hard and clear and pointed in one direction. He has somewhere to go. He has not said it to anyone. He may not have said it fully to himself yet. For the first days he just walks. He does not go to the towns where men know his name and would take him in. He avoids them. A man with his pride does not want to be seen as a beggar at a friend's door. And besides, the friends are in Rome. And Rome is the thing he is walking away from. He sleeps in fields. He eats what a soldier eats on a hard march, which is to say almost nothing, and does not notice. The anger feeds him better than bread. As long as he is angry, he does not have to think about the house, or the door, or the woman who did not call him back. But the anger needs somewhere to point. That is the thing about anger. It is not a place to live. It is a road. A road goes somewhere. His is already turning under him before he has admitted where. But his feet have already turned. Not east, not toward the friendly towns. south and west, toward the country of the Volsci, toward the people whose city he took, whose men he killed, whose name he wears as a trophy, toward the only people in Italy who hate Rome as much as he has just learned to. He does not yet know what he will do when he gets there. He knows only that he is going. The man who held a gate for Rome is walking, in the cold, toward the enemies of Rome. He has stopped being able to tell the two apart. The road bends. The city goes out of sight behind a hill. He keeps walking. 7. Among the enemy, the town is called Antium. It is a Volscian town on the coast, and Coriolanus knows it the way a wolf knows a sheepfold. He has fought these people for years. He has killed their men, burned their fields, taken their towns. The name he carries, the name he is most proud of, is the name of a Volscian city he destroyed. He walks into Antium at evening, in a poor man's cloak with the hood up. The town smells of fish and tar and wood smoke. A sea town. He has never lived by the sea. Rome is a river city. He is a river city's man. The salt in the air tells him, with every breath, how far he has come from anything he knows. He passes a doorway where a family is eating. He can hear them. A child's voice. A woman laughing at something. The ordinary sound of an evening in a house. The same in any language. The same in Antium as in Rome. He does not slow down. But he hears it. He files it away the way he files everything away. In the place where he keeps the things he will not look at directly. He could be killed in any street here. If they knew his face, they would tear him apart, and they would be right to. He is the most hated Roman in the Volscian world. He walks through their streets anyway, slow like a man who has nowhere he needs to be. He is looking for one house. It belongs to a man named Attius Tullius, the first man of the Volsci, their best soldier, their loudest voice, the one who has wanted war with Rome longest and most. Tullius and Coriolanus have faced each other across battle lines. They know each other the way two champions know each other, which is to say they hate each other and respect each other. Each would rather fight the other than anyone else alive. Coriolanus finds the house. He goes in. He sits down at the hearth. This is an old thing he is doing, older than Rome. A man who sits at another man's hearth and covers his head is a suppliant. He is placing himself under the protection of the household gods. To kill him there would be to insult the gods of your own house. It is the last move of a man with nothing left. Coriolanus, who has never in his life had nothing, makes it now. Tullius comes home and finds a hooded man at his fire. He asks who it is. The man does not answer at first. Then he pulls back the hood. For a long moment Tullius does not move. He is looking at the face of the man who took Corioli, the man who has cost the Volsci more than any Roman alive. The enemy, sitting at his hearth, under the protection of his own gods. Tullius's hand has gone to his side. There is no knife there. He is in his own house. The two men look at each other across the fire. The fire is the only sound. For the space of several breaths, the whole war hangs on whether one of them moves. Neither moves. That is the answer, and they both know it. A man does not draw on a suppliant at his own hearth. Tullius lets his hand fall. Something in his face changes from the thing that wants to kill to the thing that wants to use. Coriolanus speaks. He keeps it short. He tells Tullius who he is, in case the years have softened the face. He lists what he has done to the Volsci, plainly, without apology. Tullius knows it all anyway, and a suppliant who lies is worse than useless. Then he tells him what Rome has done to him. The trial, the exile, the city he saved, throwing him out at the word of the people he despises. And he makes his offer. He has one thing left to give, and it is the only thing Tullius has ever wanted. He knows Rome. He knows how it fights, where it is weak, which towns will fall and which will hold. He is the best soldier Rome ever had. Rome has thrown him away. He is offering himself to the man who hates Rome most. Use me, he says, or kill me here. Either is better than what I have. Tullius takes his hand. Of course he takes it. What commander would not? The finest blade in Italy, just handed to him, still warm. Tullius is not a fool. He knows exactly what he has and what it will cost Rome. Here is the thing about Coriolanus sitting at that hearth, taking that hand. There is a word for a man who leads an enemy army against his own city. He knows the word. He does not use it. He tells himself he is punishing an ungrateful city, not betraying his own. The distinction matters very much to him. It matters to no one else. He has built a small, clean room inside his head. Inside it, what he is doing is just, he lives in that room now. He will not come out of it for anyone. Not yet. There is only one person alive who can open that door. She is in Rome. He has just walked away from her. The Volsci begin to move. Tullius does the political work. He stirs up the towns. He finds the old grievances, the slights, the broken treaties, and he makes them fresh. He gets the Volscian assembly to vote for war. It is not hard. The Volsci have wanted this for a generation. They only lacked one thing. They have it now. A man who can beat Rome at its own game. There is a cleverness in how Tullius does it. He does not stand up and call for war. He arranges for an incident instead. He sends word to Rome that the Volsci are coming to a festival in great numbers, peacefully. Then he warns the Romans, quietly, that the crowd may not be peaceful. Rome, frightened, orders the Volsci to leave the city before dark. The insult does the rest. A people sent home like dogs from a feast do not need much persuading after that. Tullius lights the fire and lets the Romans fan it. He has learned, somewhere, the oldest trick of the powerful, which is to make the other side strike first. Coriolanus watches him do it and feels something close to respect. They are not so different, the two of them, both men who see the board from above. The difference is that Tullius still belongs somewhere, and Coriolanus now belongs nowhere at all. The army gathers. Coriolanus trains it, leads it, shapes it. He takes the Volscian soldiers, brave and disorganized, and he gives them what Rome gave him: discipline, order, the clean machine of a Roman war turned around and pointed at Rome. It is strange work, and he knows it. He is teaching the enemy how Rome fights. Every formation he drills into them is one he learned in Rome's service. On Rome's fields, to beat the very people these men are. He is pouring himself out into them. By the time he is done, this Volscian army will move like a Roman one. That is the most dangerous thing in Italy. And he made it. And then they march. Town by town, the army moves north. The Volscian towns that Rome took in the last wars, Coriolanus takes back. One after another. Easily. He knows exactly how Rome holds a town, and exactly how to break that hold. The map of the last 20 years runs backward under his feet. Everything Rome won, he is unwinning, in his own former enemy's name. He does not feel like a traitor. He feels like a man correcting an injustice. In the clean room inside his head, the columns balance. There are men in the towns he takes who fought beside him once. Latins, allies, men who cheered the name Coriolanus after Corioli. They see him at the head of a Volscian army and they do not understand. Some of them call out to him. He does not answer. He has stopped hearing the language of the people who threw him out. To answer would be to let the door of the clean room swing open. He keeps it shut. He keeps marching. The army gets closer to Rome. The towns get closer to Rome. The thing was once unthinkable. A Roman army of Volsci, led by Rome's best son. It is now a few days' march from the gates. In Rome, they begin to understand what is coming. The name moves through the city the way it once moved through an army after Corioli. Coriolanus. Coriolanus. It does not sound like a hero's name anymore. It sounds like the name of the thing at the gate. 8. The army at the gate. The army comes up the last road in the cold light of morning. It does not come fast. It does not need to. Coriolanus has taken every town between here and the Volscian country. There is nothing left between his men and the walls of Rome. A few miles of open road. The river. Rome can see the dust before it can see the army. Then the army. Then, at the front of it, on a horse, a man the city knows. The dust comes first because that is how an army announces itself. Long before you can count the men, you see the column of it rising over the last hill, hanging in the cold air. And you know, the watchmen on the walls have seen that dust before, many times, but always rising over someone else's town. They have stood on captured walls and watched their own army's dust come up a foreign road. They have felt the safety of being on the inside of it. There is no safety in it now. The dust is theirs, and it is coming for them. The man raising it knows exactly which gate is weakest. He stood guard on it himself in another life when he was still theirs. The walls fill with people, not soldiers. There are not enough soldiers. The men who would have stood on these walls are the same men he led, or the same men who fought beside him. Now they look out at him with a particular sickness. The sickness of a man watching his own champion turn the blade around. The army makes camp within sight of the gates, close enough that the watchfires at night look like a second city, a darker one, lying down beside the first. The men on the walls do not sleep. They listen. At that distance you cannot hear words, but you can hear the sounds an army makes at night. The clink of iron, a horse somewhere, a voice raised and then quiet. The Romans on the walls have made those same sounds. On those same nights, in 100 camps outside other people's cities. Now they are on the wrong side of the sound. Rome is afraid in a way it has not been afraid in living memory. The Gauls have not come yet. That terror is still years off. For now this is the worst thing the city can imagine. And the worst part is that it is one of their own. The Senate does what cities do. It sends men to talk. The first embassy is the obvious one. Old colleagues, men who served with him, men who stood in the line beside him, men who know his face from the years before the fall. Surely he will listen to them. Surely the man who turned down a fortune in front of an army has some decency left. Surely they can reach it. He receives them. He is correct and cold and entirely a soldier. He hears their offer and he gives them terms. The terms are hard. He wants land returned to the Volsci. He wants their old rights restored. He wants Rome to treat the people it has spent a generation grinding down as equals. He wants it in writing. He gives the Senate a few days to agree. It is, in its way, the strangest thing about him. The terms are not insane. A reasonable city in a strong position might have made a version of this peace. But Rome cannot make it under a sword, at the word of an exile leading its enemies. He knows that. So the terms are really a way of saying no while sounding like a man who said yes. The embassy goes home with nothing. The Senate sends a second. This time they choose men who knew him best. Not colleagues, friends. Men who had eaten at his table. Men who had stood at his wedding. Men who had carried him drunk and young through the streets. In the years when all of it was still ahead of him. If anyone can reach him, it is these men. The Senate is betting on the one soft thing they think is left in him. He receives them too. He lets them say everything. He looks at the faces he has known his whole life. He does not look away. Looking away would be a kind of weakness, and he has none left to spend. He listens to them remind him of who he was. And when they are done, he gives them the same terms, the same flat voice, as if they were strangers. That is the thing that frightens the friends most. Not that he refuses, that he refuses without effort. A man fighting himself would struggle. He does not struggle. The soft thing the Senate bet on is not there anymore. He spent it on the road out of Rome, or buried it in the clean room in his head. The men who knew him walk back to the city understanding for the first time. Their friend is gone. Only the soldier is left. Then the city tries the gods. The priests go out. The whole sacred apparatus of Rome. In their robes, with the old objects and the old words. The things that are supposed to stop any Roman heart. They walk out to the camp. They ask him, in the name of every god the city keeps, to turn back. He does not turn back. This is the part that breaks something in the city's mind. Embassies fail all the time. Negotiations fail. But the priests do not fail. A Roman bends to the gods. It is the deepest reflex the city has. And here is a Roman who has stopped bending even to them. He sits in his camp. He watches the sacred procession walk back to the gates with nothing. He does not move his army an inch. If the gods cannot reach him, the city thinks, then nothing can. The army will come over the walls. That will be the end of Rome, 400 years before its time. Killed by the best son it ever produced. There is nothing left to send. The city has used everything it has. Its soldiers are too few. Its words have failed. Its gods have failed. The Senate sits in session and says less and less, because there is less and less to say. Some of them have begun, quietly, to make the arrangements men make when they believe the end is coming. Where the family will go, what can be carried, which gods to take and which to leave. It is the arithmetic of a city that has stopped believing it will survive the week. That is when the women of the city think of the one thing no one has tried. They do not go to the Senate. They have no standing there. They gather, the wives and the mothers, and they go together to one house. A good house, not a rich one. The house of the mother of Coriolanus. Her name is Vittoria. She is old now. She has not seen her son since the night he stopped at her door. He did not turn. She did not call him back. She has heard what he has become. The whole city has heard. She has said nothing to anyone about it. The women come to her and ask her to do the thing that no embassy and no priest could do. To go out to the camp. To stand in front of the army. To ask her son, as a mother, for the city. She listens. She does not weep. She has the same stillness he has, or rather he has hers, because everything hard in him came from her. She agrees. She will take his wife, Volumnia, and the two small children, his sons. She will take the women of the city behind her. She will walk out the gate on foot, an old woman, toward an army the gods themselves could not move. An old woman puts on a dark cloak in a cold house. She does not arm herself because she has no weapon and would not know how to hold one. She takes her grandsons by the hand. She steps out into the street. The women of Rome fall in behind her. The small procession moves toward the gate. The gate opens for them. The guards do not know what else to do. They go out onto the open road, toward the dark second city of watchfires, toward the man at the front of it. The most dangerous man in the world is waiting at the end of that road, and walking toward him slowly, in the cold, with two children and no weapons. The only person alive who was ever able to make him do anything at all. The army sees them coming. A ripple goes through it. Men point. Word runs up toward the command tent. Someone tells Coriolanus that there are women on the road, that his mother is at the front of them. He goes very still, the way he does, the way she taught him. Then he stands to go and meet her, and he does not yet know that he has already lost. He thinks he is going out to refuse her, the way he refused the senators and the priests. He has never refused her in his life. He is about to discover that he still cannot. 9. The mother at the gate. He comes out of the camp on foot. He could have stayed in the command tent and made them bring her to him. That would have been the thing to do in front of an army. To stay seated. To make her come the whole way. To be the general and not the son. He does not do it. His feet take him out toward the road before he has decided anything. That is the first sign, though no one reads it yet. The man on the road is winning. The general is already losing. The army watches him go. Thousands of men, Volscian and allied. The men he trained and led and made into the thing that frightened Rome. They watch their commander walk out alone toward a knot of women on the road. They do not understand it yet. They go quiet the way men go quiet. They sense something is about to happen that is larger than the war. He sees the children first. That is what undoes the first wall. Not his mother, the children, his sons, small, holding the hands of the women, walking on the cold road in their good clothes. Someone dressed them carefully for this. He sees them and something moves in his chest that he has kept still for a year. Then he sees Volumnia, his wife, pale and silent. Then he sees his mother. Vittoria is at the front. She is old and she is small. She is walking very straight, the way she has always walked. The way she taught him to walk into a room. He has seen her across 1,000 rooms. He has never seen her here. On a road. In the cold. An army behind him and a doomed city behind her. He starts toward her fast. Some part of him is still a boy. The part that is always 7 years old in front of this woman. It wants to run to her. To put his arms around her. To have her tell him it is all right. He moves to do it. She steps back. It is a small movement. She simply does not let him reach her. She holds up a hand. Not high. Just enough. He stops as if he has hit the wall of a shield. She looks at him. The whole army is watching and she takes her time. She looks at him the way she looked at him the night he left. The look he could not hold then. He cannot hold it now. And she says she needs to know something first, before she lets him touch her. She needs to know whether she has come out to her son, or to the enemy of her country. Whether she is a mother here or a prisoner. The words are quiet. They land like stones. He has no answer. There has never been a thing he could not answer her. She never asked him a question whose answer hurt. Until now. Now she has. The silence after that is the longest of his life. He has stood in silences before. The silence before a charge. When the line waits and the enemy waits. The only thing moving is the breath in your own chest. He knows that silence. He is good in it. This one is different. In that other silence he always knew what he would do next. Here he does not. He stands on the cold road with his mother's question in the air. For the first time in his adult life he does not know what comes next. The army behind him does not breathe. The women in front of him do not breathe. He thinks in that silence of the house, of the evening fire and the smell of it, of being small and her hands and the certainty he had then. The certainty that the world made sense because she said it did. He has spent his whole life trying to deserve that certainty. He brought an army to the gate of the city to deserve it. He sees now, in the silence, that he has been walking away from it the entire time. She does not wait long for the answer he cannot give. She goes on. What she says in pieces. She does not make a speech. A mother does not make a speech to her son. She says a thing and lets it sit and says the next thing. She tells him to look behind her. At his wife. At his children. At the city. She tells him what he has made of her. She is the mother of the man who has brought an enemy army to the gate of his own home. She has lived long enough to wish she had not. She tells him every other woman in Rome can pray for the city. She cannot. To pray for Rome is to pray against her son. To pray for her son is to pray against Rome. He has done that to her. He has taken away her ability to pray. She tells him how this ends both ways, and that both ways are his defeat. If he wins, she says, he will be the man who trampled his own country. He will carry that name past the name he won at Corioli. The city will burn and he will have lit it. If he loses, she says, he will be the man who destroyed his mother, because she will not outlive it. She will not stand and watch it. Either way, she says, you lose. You did not used to lose. I taught you not to lose. I did not teach you this. She lets that sit. Then she tells him a smaller thing, and it is worse than the large ones. She tells him she has been trying to remember the last time she was proud of him. She cannot find it close. The last time was before all of this. Before the trial, before the exile, before the road. She tells him he took that from her too. Not just her prayers. Her memory of being proud. She has to reach all the way back. Past the great soldier and the famous name. To a boy in a small house. To find the son she is not ashamed of. And then she says the thing the histories remember. She says it short because the short things are the ones that stay. She tells him there is one road into the city. It runs through where she is standing. She tells him he will not enter Rome except over her body. She will lie down on this road first. He may march his army over his mother to take his home, but he will march over her. She says it without raising her voice. That is the terrible part. She says it the way she might tell him to close a door. Then she does the thing that ends it. She kneels. An old woman on the cold road in front of the whole army. She gets down on her knees to her son. It is wrong. Everyone watching knows it is wrong. A mother does not kneel to a son. The world is upside down when that happens. The army feels it. The wrongness of it. A low sound goes through the ranks. His wife kneels. The children kneel because the women kneel. The whole knot of them goes down onto the road in front of him. He breaks. There is no other word for it. The general. The suppliant who could not be moved by senators or priests or gods. The man who built a clean room in his head and would not come out for anyone. He comes out of it now. He had locked every door. He forgot she had a key to the one at the center. He reaches down and pulls her up off the road. He cannot bear to see her there. The moment his hands are on her arms, he is not a general anymore. He is her son. He has been her son the whole time. He only forgot for 1 year in the cold with an army. He holds her. The army watches their commander hold a small old woman on the road and shake. It goes on longer than the army can bear to watch. None of them have ever seen him like this. To them he has only ever been the still one, the one who does not flinch, the cold, clean blade. They are watching the blade come apart in front of an old woman. Some of them look away, the way you look away from a thing too private to witness. Even out here in the open with thousands of men, he says one thing, quiet. The men too far back do not hear it. The ones close enough never forget it. Mother, you have saved Rome. You have lost your son. He knows what he has just done. He knew it the moment his feet carried him out of the camp. You cannot lead the Volsci to the gate of Rome and then turn them around at the gate and live. He has handed Tullius a reason. He has shown the whole army a thing. The great Roman blade can be turned by an old woman in an afternoon. A man does not survive that. She knows it too. That is the second blade in what she said. She did not say, you have saved Rome and yourself. She knew the cost. She paid it with her son's life knowingly. The only other price was the city. And a mother who would burn a city to keep her son is not the mother she raised. Not the one he honored. She saved Rome. She knew exactly what it would cost. That was the whole of it. He gives the order. The Volscian soldiers near enough to see his face do not understand it. They have followed this man because he wins. He took their towns back. He gave them Rome at the gate. And now, with the city a single push away, he is telling them to turn around. The reason is a small old woman walking back toward the open gate. Some of them will hate him for it before the day is out. Some of them already do. A soldier forgives many things in a commander. He does not forgive being turned around within sight of the prize. The men remember this. They will use it. The army turns. It is the strangest order any of them have ever followed. They follow it. He is still their commander, and the habit of obeying him is stronger than their confusion. The dark second city of watchfires begins to take itself apart. The thing at the gate withdraws from the gate. Behind them, on the walls of Rome, the people watch the impossible happen. The army that the gods could not move is moving. Away. They do not cheer at first. It is too large to cheer. They watch in silence as the dust of the retreating army hangs and then settles on the road south. A woman walked out with no weapon and turned back what no weapon could. The women of Rome go home. Later the city will build a temple on the spot. A temple to a goddess of women's fortune. They will not know how to say what happened in any other language than that one. A god must have been in it. No mere mother could do that. But it was a mother. That is the part the temple covers over. There was no goddess on the road that afternoon. There was an old woman who knew her son better than he knew himself. She spent her own heart to stop him. She walked home knowing she had killed him to save the rest. The road is empty now. The cold comes down. The watchfires are gone. By evening, the only sign that an army was ever here is the trampled grass where the camp stood. The black circles of the dead fires. A few things dropped in the haste of breaking camp. The road that was going to carry an army into Rome carries nothing now but the wind off the river. Somewhere to the south, an army marches away from Rome. At its head, a man with nothing left to go back to. In any direction, he saved his mother's country. It was the last thing he ever did that the histories agree on. 10. What the gate remembers. The army goes back to the Volscian country, and the histories stop agreeing. That is the honest way to say it. After the road, after the gate, the accounts come apart. Some say Tullius turned on him at once. Some say it took longer. Some say there was a trial of sorts in front of the Volscian assembly. They say Coriolanus tried to speak and was not allowed to finish. Some say the crowd fell on him before any verdict. Some say he lived out a long old age in exile, gray and bitter, far from both the cities that made him. The stories do not agree. They agree on only one thing. He never went home. What is certain is the shape of it. He had given the Volsci the one thing they ever wanted, Rome at their mercy, and then he had taken it back at the gate for a woman. An army does not forgive that. Tullius could not forgive it even if he wanted to. The man who hands his soldiers a victory and then walks it away has stopped being useful. He has started being a danger. There is a word for what happens to such men. The histories use different words for the how. They use the same word for the end. He died among the people he betrayed Rome to join, killed for betraying them in turn. The great Roman blade broken twice by both the hands that held it. Whatever the manner of it, there was a last moment. There always is. A man who has been the most dangerous thing in Italy comes, in the end, to a single room, or a single road, or a single crowd, and a few seconds in which he understands that it is over. The histories do not tell us what he thought in that moment. They could not have known. But it is hard not to wonder whether, at the very end, the clean room in his head finally opened, whether he saw the thing plainly, that he had won everything a man could win and lost the only judgment that ever mattered to him. that he had done it himself with his own pride, while telling himself the whole time that he was the one who kept his word. If he saw it, he did not have long to sit with it. Most men don't. His mother lived. That is recorded, in the way the small true things sometimes survive when the large ones blur. Vittoria went home from the road and lived on in the city she had saved. The histories do not say whether she was ever proud of him again. They do not say much about her at all after the road. She had done the one enormous thing of her life. The city built a temple to a goddess, to avoid saying it was only her. The news of his death, when it came as news comes from far away, late and uncertain and second-hand. A traitor, maybe, a returning soldier, someone who had heard it from someone. Rome did not mourn him. Rome had no right to, and knew it. The city he tried to burn could hardly weep for the man who tried to burn it. But there were people in it who had loved him once. They would have heard it in the street, the way you hear of anyone. They would have gone quiet for a moment, then gone on with the day. That is how it ends for most men. Not with a monument, with a moment of quiet in a street, and then the cart comes, and you step aside for it. And the thing he hated most, the thing he despised so completely he tried to starve a city to be rid of it, that lived too. The tribunes stayed, the office the plebs made on a cold hill, made out of an old soldier's scarred back, and the fear of the Senate. It did not go away because a war hero sneered at it. It stayed. It grew. Through all the years that come after this season. Through everything that is coming. The tribune of the plebs remains. The strange Roman office whose whole purpose is to stand in the way of power and say the one word. No, he held a gate alone, and his name lasts because of it. He took a city and wore its name like a crown. And the thing he leaves behind, the thing that outlasts the gate and the name and the army, it is the small protection he tried to destroy. His greatness went into the ground with him in a foreign country, under a story no one can agree on. The office he despised went on for 500 years. It is a strange way for a thing to last. Not through the man who was great, but through the men who were nothing. The old soldier with the scarred back left no name. The men on the hill left no names. We do not know one of them. They were the hands of the body, and the hands do not get remembered. But the thing they made on a cold hill out of fear and patience and a refusal to keep working, that outlived every famous man of the age. The great are remembered. The nameless leave the furniture the great have to live in. The forum fills again the next morning. The carts come up from the river. The bakeries open. The men with the scarred backs are still in debt. Nothing about the grain or the chains was solved by an old woman on a road. The fight the plebs started on the hill is not over. It has only found its first weapon and put it down and gone home to wait. Because here is the thing the tribunes do not yet have. They can say no. They can stand in the way and stop a magistrate. But they cannot say what the law is. The law is still in patrician hands. Unwritten. Kept in the heads of the men who judge. And a law you cannot read is a law that means whatever the judge needs it to mean that day. The plebs have a voice now. They do not yet have the words. That is the next fight, and it is coming, and it will cost more than this one did. The gate that an army stopped in front of is just a gate again. People walk through it without looking up. They do that with gates. Only the ones who were there remember what stood outside it in the cold and turned back and why. The rest of the city forgets the way cities do. It has bread to buy and work to do. Cannot afford to keep looking at the gate. It has already started arguing about the next thing. That is the truest thing about a city. It does not stop. A man can be the whole of a story the way Coriolanus was the whole of this one. And the city closes over the place where he stood. The way water closes over a stone. The forum he was tried in is full again. The road his army came up carries carts and travelers and gossip. Somewhere a child is being told the story already and getting it slightly wrong. The way the stories always come out slightly wrong, until the wrong version is the only one anyone remembers. He wanted to be remembered. He is, just not as the man he thought he was. Writer's note: I do not read Coriolanus as a traitor. A traitor sells something he believes in. He never believed in the city. He believed in himself and in his mother and in the smell of a battlefield. The city was only the place that cheered him until it didn't. When it stopped cheering, he could not tell the difference between Rome and an insult. His mother could. That was the whole of it. She knew what he was a son of. He never did. Next time. A small farm outside the city. A man with his hands in the dirt. He is about to be handed all of Rome. He will give it back.